Hey friends, I am going to share with you the one thing that has driven the reset of our eBay business. Stay tuned.
Where the deals just shine. Boss ladies on the grind every single time. From victors to new, they got the fashion view. Step into their world, you feel brand new. Got Gucci, got Prada, got everything you crave. Their passion for fashion is what they bravely gave. Resell game strong and the ladies in command. Three queens Resell, taking over the land.
Hey friends, it is Stephanie from Three Queens Resell, and if you are new here, welcome. Welcome back, reseller besties, aka accountability partners. I do appreciate you for joining me daily for this little wrap-up update, whatever. And that noise is my dog. I had some right before I started, some chicken, like mashed potatoes, like mac and cheese, and of course I didn't eat it because I'm on an Ozempic. Yes, I'm on second week of Ozempic. I'm a type 2 diabetic, which that is what Ozempic is for, is managing diabetes. And it's like taking my appetite. So my dog got to eat my dinner. But she's down here licking the plate clean. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. I am Stephanie with Three Queens Resell. I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark, Mecari, Depop, and eBay. But about 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago, I did a hard reset on our eBay business because we just weren't selling things. And I was like, why do we have all these listings, but we can't sell anything? So I went to YouTube University and I started researching eBay because, to be honest, I have been scared of actually diving into eBay. I'm a Poshmark girly, like that's what I do. Poshmark is easy. I've actually had an opportunity. I've spoken at PoshFest, and so I'm really comfortable with Poshmark, and then Depop and eBay or Mecari are just easy. But eBay, I had been a little scared of. I mean, we used List Perfectly to cross list over there, but I'd never kind of dug into the ins and outs in eBay. I did know if you cancel orders or you have an INAD item not as described, you get dinged and then they drop your store. If you get too many of those, you fall below standard. Friends, I have lived in below standard territory and I have fought my way back, and I'm a top seller, we're top seller category. So I have been through it with eBay, and I'm ready to take on eBay and learn this system. So I'm so glad that you guys have joined me for this learning process. So if you're new here, I'm going to start with today's topic, which is sell-through rate versus comps, and just kind of my thoughts on both of them and how I have used them to kind of reset, rotate, flip, clean up my eBay business. And I think as a result of doing it for eBay, it's having a positive impact on the other platforms as well. But after we do that, I'll share with you my daily numbers, and then we'll wrap things up with what sold today on Saturday. So I'll show you a video of it. I'll go through the numbers, and I'll let you know how much I am putting in my pocket after all the fees. So full transparency here, because I don't want anyone to dive off into reselling because they think that they can make $1 million a year and only work 2 hours a day. Those of you doing that, no tea, no shade. I don't believe you. Show me the receipts. But or teach me your secrets, one or the other. But today's topic I want to talk about is sell-through rate. So, little background. Before I started this process, I looked up comps of things. That's what I looked up, was comps of items to see what was sold. If the comps were good, I picked it up. When I first started, I just picked up things that I liked, regardless of brand, regardless of comps. At least I graduated to looking up comps, but still that wasn't moving my business in the direction I wanted to as quickly as I want to. So as I went researching, I found the secret sauce, and that is sell-through rate. So I'm going to share it with you guys. So you can find all those BOLOs. It's good to find those things, but they're BOLOs because of the sell-through rate. So in BOLO, if you're new here, it means be on the lookout, those brands that we all want to be on the lookout for. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about sell-through rate and comps, and then I'll kind of show you how I look up something. And like, this is more of like a demonstration video. So please give me your feedback. Let me know if I'm clear or if I'm confusing you and you have to turn me off. I don't want to confuse you. I was a middle school teacher for 23 years, but this is new material for me as well. I've only been like working with this information for about 3 weeks. And so, it helps me process information if I can teach it to other people. Okay, so the question I'm posed to you, and leave me a comment. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should you use sell-through rates or comps to look up whether you should pick up an item or not? So when you are at hold on. Okay, when you are, I picked up what's closest to me. So when you are at the thrift store, you see this Louis Vuitton bag, you're going to pick it up. But let's pretend like we don't know what it is. So we don't know what the comps on these are. So you see this bag and you decide, should I get this or should I not? Are you going to use the sell-through rate or are you going to use the comp? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's talk about the difference. So the sell-through rate, friends, is the research of current supply versus the demand. So the Louis Vuitton bag, let's say there are 100 of them listed, okay? But only if you look at the solds, and on eBay, this only works on eBay, you look at the solds on eBay for the beige, tote. Louis Vuitton logo tote. I don't remember the exact name of it. If you look up how many have sold, you had 100 listed, 2 have sold. Is that an item you want to take home with you? I think not, because there are so many listed, but they're not selling. And so I feel like as a reseller, that is a problem for a lot of us. So sell-through rate helps you determine how quickly an item may sell. Now, if I find anything Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Hermes, any of those brands that Prada, I found a Prada one time, I'm picking it up. I'm not even going to look at the sell-through rate because I can sit on that. I will sit on that. Because maybe the sell-through rate, the reason only 2 have sold is because the comps are incorrect. Maybe people have priced that way higher than they should. So there's 100 listed, but 2 sold, but the 2 that sold were priced reasonably and people bought them. The 100 that are currently sold are priced way above market value. So that's why they haven't sold. So there is like a little bit of thinking that needs to go into this, friends. So each item is going to be a little different. But let's say it is just a pair of Levi's 501 jeans, size 33. And you look them up. That is something you can find pretty regularly at the bins. You look them up, there's 100 listed and 2 have sold. I say leave it behind. Leave it behind. They're not selling, and even if you do have a lot of space, you're just gonna sit and list it. Now, pick it up if you are gonna flip it on Whatnot and you need inventory to flip on Whatnot, and you're gonna start them at $1 on Whatnot. But for your reselling business, as far as listing, that's not gonna sell quickly because there's too many available. So sell-through rate, just to repeat, is researching the supply versus the demand of the item. Basic business, if you go to business school. I don't know why this didn't come into my brain when I randomly started to do a resale business. And then that determines that supply versus demand is going to determine not only how you can price it, but how quickly it's going to sell. Okay, that's why things come out seasonally. Like shorts are cheaper in the summer here in central Indiana. You can barely find a swimsuit here in central Indiana where I live in the winter. Like if you are like, oh, I'm going on a cruise in January, I need a new swimsuit, you're going to buy it online. There is not going to be any store, maybe that store in the mall, underwater, below water, whatever, like that store, will have swimsuits because they sell swimsuits year round, but you're going to pay $200 for it unless you go to the resale market. So we've talked about sell-through rate and what it's used for in your reselling business. Now, the other side of that is comps. So let's look at we'll go back to the Louis Vuitton bag. Comps are for researching the price of similar sold items. So when you are at the thrift sourcing and you're looking up comps, you need to go to the solds. You can look at what's listed because that'll give you an idea, like on Poshmark, that'll give you an idea of how many are listed. It's not as clean as eBay is for me. But if you go to the solds, you can see what items have sold for. On Poshmark, eBay, I haven't really tried it on the other platforms, but I'm sure it works. You can filter like that. But Poshmark and eBay, if you filter by sold, you can see what the items actually sold for. And then that will help you determine how to price your item competitively. Now, when I look at how things have sold, I take into account, especially on Poshmark, that things could have sold on an offer and with a shipping discount. So if something sold for $20, I'm going to assume that they had a shipping discount, they sent out some type of offer, and I'm going to roll those ideas into my price and maybe start it at 25 so that I can allow room for those offers and shipping discounts. eBay, I don't feel like it's necessary to pad too much, maybe a tad bit if you're going to promote your listings or if you're going to run a sale, but I don't think it's as necessary to pad on eBay as it is on Poshmark. I have plenty of people on eBay buy things for what we have them listed for now that I've been adjusting prices. So while comps tell you how to price the item, you need to know the sell-through rate first to see if that item is even in demand, okay? Because I've looked up sell-through rates on items that have excellent sell-through rates, but it's a cheaper item, like $10, $15, and maybe I don't want to pick it up for that, okay? Maybe I want things to sell for more, so even though the sell-through rate is good, the comps for that item aren't good, and maybe I don't want a lot of lower end items in my store. So comps are useful for pricing, and if you want to sell it quicker, it'd be best to sell it under the comps. Like if you don't want to go too below because people will think something is wrong with it, but look at that middle, and if something's selling for between 20 and 30, maybe hitting that $25 range. And so that or 24, 23, if you can, stand to, if the margins are there for that. So if you price above comps, then the item's going to sit for a while. I don't care what it is. It is going to sit for a while. So the worst combination, and I've said this in another video, is high price, low sell-through rate. And I feel like that is what was plaguing my eBay store. High prices on items that were oversaturated and had a low sell-through rate. So this new knowledge totally guides my sourcing. I look up the sell-through rate on every single item that I pick up when I go sourcing. So some other things to consider, and then I'll show you how I look up the sell-through rate on items. When you are out there thrifting and you're thinking about supply and demand versus how much I can get for it, always consider how much profit that you expect to make. Do you like to 10 times your investment after fees and cost of goods? Do you want to 5 times your investment? Like, develop your matrix so that when you get in the thrift store, that determines whether you're paying up for something or not. To me, paying up for something is when it doesn't meet your matrix. If you expect to make 5 times off of something after fees and cost of goods, but you drop it down to 2 times, you've paid up for that, because the price is going to come out of your profit. The difference is going to come out of your profit. So consider how much you expect to make. Like, if you spend $1 on something, do you just want to make $1? Because if all you want to make is $1, then it's kind of a wash. And I don't know that your business will stay in business very long. And that's why starting things on Whatnot at $1 is not a good idea. And I know I did it for a long time because I was listening to the advice of other people. Not good advice. And now I know that. Learning experience. People who are on there starting stuff at $1 and are doing very well at it. Good for them. They're beating the odds. But just for pre-owned clothing, shoes, and accessories, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's profitable. Fight me in the comments if you want to. I did it and I've lost money on it. So, like, that's my take on that. So if my goal is to profit $15 to $20 or more per item after fees and cost of goods, I have that in my back of my head. So if I check the sell-through rate, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. The sell-through rate is 200%. And then I look at the comps and I'm like, they're only selling for $8. These leggings are only selling for $8. Is it worth my time to bring the item home, wash it, do a haul video with it? My husband steams, measures, photographs. We package it in inventory. Is that now we sell plenty of things for $8 and less because we've got some older bad buys with a, like I said, a low sell-through rate because I source without this knowledge. And so I've picked up things through the years that have low sell-through rates that are sitting in our eBay, Poshmark, on our platforms. And now I'm armed with this new knowledge. So now I'm willing to take whatever I can to get for it to recoup my initial investment. So now I can go reinvest that money in an item with a high sell-through rate. So while I thought this was going to be a quick flip of my reselling business, a quick reset, this reset is going to take the rest of the year or maybe even longer, because I already had a big closet, a big store with more than 1,500 items. Now, some of them are perfectly great. They're just priced high. The sell-through rate on them is excellent. They're just priced high, and we are correcting that by going through and repricing, cleaning up those titles. And so those will fix themselves. But those items that have a high sell-through rate, it's either time for me to move them to auction, drop the price on them, or pull them and redonate. We don't typically pull and redonate because we have plenty of space right now. But if we get to a point where we don't, those will be the first items to pull and donate. I have been taking some things to Plato's Closet and Clothes Mentor, and Once Upon a Child. Those are local consignment shops here. And so those items that have that low sell-through rate low through sell-through rate, and I can work through our inventory, pulling those out and trying to sell them somewhere else. Maybe those are items I pull for a garage sale at the end of the summer. I wouldn't mind getting rid of some of these things for $2 or $3 at a garage sale because I don't have to pay any fees. And I got plenty of roller racks here that I can roll out into my driveway. So something else to consider. If there are no comps and very few of an item listed, you have to make an educated gamble and refer to other platforms like Poshmark. So I have a pair of earrings. They were in my haul video yesterday. Very unique, very expensive piece, but there are none just like mine that have sold. So I'm looking at silver clip-on earrings from that brand and kind of basing it off of that as to what I should list mine for, ones that have sold. So you may have to like play with it a little bit and see. Maybe the fact that there are none like mine that are listed or sold means mine are super duper rare and I should do even more research on them and not just like throw them up. They might be like 5 of a kind. And so that would make them super duper rare. And if something's super duper rare, I sell clothing, shoes, and accessories, mostly pre-owned. So I don't find very many rare things, but occasionally, you know, I've had a pair of Gucci aviators that sold for $200 in a day that I got for $8. So, and the lenses were scratched. So people, you know, I do come across like rare things, and you just kind of have to go with your gut. In those cases, I would say price high because I feel like it's easier to come down and accept offers than it is to go the other way. Now, I will take on items with a lower profit if the sell-through rate is excellent, 90% or more. I wish Polo, Ralph Lauren polos the sell-through rate was good, because the profit is like, you can get between 15 and $20 pretty easily, but the sell-through rate is horrible on those, and so I can't pick them up. I find them all the time in the bins. Like every time I go to the bins, I put my hands on 4 or 5 of them, but the sell-through rate just isn't good. And old me picked those up. New me, no. So my question to you guys, is it worth the time and energy to list free inventory if the sell-through rate is bad? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is it worth the time and energy to list free inventory even if the sell-through rate is bad? It's free, so you don't have anything in it but your time, effort, energy. And if you have the space to sit on it, I could see taking that inventory in. But if you're a part-timer or you've got limited space, I could see like just going ahead and donating it. And where I am in my reselling business, we have 2 people who work in the business, me and my husband, so we have the time to do things. We have plenty of space in our inventory room to store things, but in my business model, I am rejecting those things that I don't comfortably, that don't have a good sell-through rate. Unless they don't have a good sell-through rate, they are odd items. Like they are like unique items that will flip for, you know, more. And most of the time, those items, there's just not enough research. So it's not that the sell-through rate is bad. There's just not enough research for me to make a determination. Another thing I want you to consider is off-season items. I live in central Indiana. I go to the bin store that is like 20 minutes from my house. It is starting to warm up here. It's been 80 the last few days. Anybody who's spring cleaning and getting rid of things in their house, it's probably going to be winter boots, winter coats, sweaters, things that they didn't use in the winter. There will be some spring summer stuff because people go on vacation and they realize their sandals don't fit, or they need a new swimsuit and they pitch the old one. But I am picking up a lot of sweaters and coats, as you guys can see through my hauls, and the sell-through rate for those is not good right now if you use eBay. So in those cases, I would say lower your expectation on your sell-through rate, because you're not going to have a 50% sell-through rate on a wool sweater right now. Those things do sell all times of the year, and I'm a big proponent of if you have it listed. But as far as sell-through rate, that sell-through rate is skewed because that's not the season for that. So I would go to Terapeak and set it out to a year so you could get a better understanding of how that item is going to do. So now that I've kind of gone through all of that, let me know in the comments if you're confused, you have a question, type it in there and I will clear it up. I can make a video making myself clearer. I am going to show you how I look up the sell-through rate on items. So I literally just pulled this off the rack next to me, and this is a Torrid 00, like smocked dress, like knee-length dress. So that's what we are going to work on. So we're going to start off by going to eBay. And I just type it in, the brand name, the item, and the size. Now we may have to drill down a little more. So Torrid dress 00. 00 is a very odd size for Torrid because it is a 14. I always select whether it's pre-owned or new at tag. And then I come over and make sure I double click the size again. And so then it's going to show me all of the ones. Well, I put the dress length. You want to put as many factors as you want to narrow it down to. I try to get it down to under 100. As you can see, there are 16 results for Torrid dress 00 that is used blue and is knee length or short. So then I scroll down to sold, and then there are 6 results for Torrid 00 dress. So that is 8 would be a 50% sell-through rate, just simple math. So 6 is less than 8, so we know it's less than 50%. But I'm still going to come down and look through the comps because this is probably in that 40% sell-through rate, which still isn't bad. They do sell, obviously, but since the sell-through rate isn't as good, I am going to look at the prices and price in the lower part of the market. So this ranges from $16 to $27.97 for Torrid blue dresses 00. I could take blue out if I wanted to look at just dresses in general. So now I've switched over to, this is only for eBay, Terapeak. And the same thing, I type it in, and there I can click on in the last year. So I can get an even bigger view of how well this sells. And so now this is data from the whole year. So the average sell price is $19.04. And then it shows what the prices have been. Shipping, if I wanted to adjust shipping, how many have gotten free shipping, and then 601 have sold in the past 12 months. So I can decide, use this information. For some reason, it doesn't have the sell-through rate information there. A lot of times it does. So it's missing on this item. Maybe I need more specifics. But, going back, looking at what has sold recently in the last 90 days versus the last year, I definitely would look at that $19 to $20 range to price that. And that is how I use the lookup comps. Okay, so now that I have gone through all of that, hopefully that clears up when I talk about sell-through rate and comps. To answer the initial question, which do you need to know, sell-through rate or comps? You need to know, have a good understanding of what both of them are for the item to determine whether it's a good pickup for you. And the fact that I have been taking the time to do this with every item that I source for the last 2.5 weeks, I have learned a lot of brands that I need to stop picking up, and I have discovered some new brands that I should pick up because the sell-through rate is so good. So hopefully this information is helpful to you, and if it is, definitely give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm going to get into the numbers because I've been committed to sharing my numbers with you guys every day and doing a what sold video just so you can see the progress that I'm making in my reselling business. So as of Saturday, May 4th, we have 1,627 items listed on eBay. That is down one item. Today we had one item sell on eBay for a total of $17.75. All of the data that I'm giving you is after fees. So all of the numbers that I am giving you are after the eBay Poshmark fees. We listed 20 items today. We sourced 0. And from other profit, we have made, and other profit includes Poshmark, Depop, and Mecari. We made $172.40. We had 13 sales, and the total for the day is $190.15. Okay, so I have another slide with some additional numbers. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so it's Saturday and that's the end of the week for us. So our weekly goal for listings was 105. We hit 108. For weekly sourcing, it was 105. We have 105, so right on the dot. Our weekly goal for money, profit, is 1,000, and we made $1,072.29. And then our average sale price for the day is $14.62. The goal is to land between 15 and 20 right now, so we're a little short on that. And then lastly, our cost of goods is $18. It is what it is. It costs money to get profit to sell or items to sell. So I'd like it to average like out to $1 an item, but sometimes it doesn't. So, because I pay more for items. So those are our numbers for today. Now I'm going to share with you what sold and give you all the details about it. Okay, we had 13 item sale today. And they're normally nice and neat and in order, but I wrote them down kind of throughout the day as they came in. So first up were these skim knit shorts. They sold for $19. After the $3.80 in fees, we were left with $15.20. Those have been listed since April 23rd, so less than a month. Next up was this Anthropologie Hans Josefina floral wrap. It sold for $20. After the $4, we were left with $16. That had been listed since February 9th. Next up was this J. Crew wrap dress, animal print, size 12, so fits in with that mob wife aesthetic. It sold for $12 after the $2.95 in fees, and then I was left with $9.05. That had been listed since December 18th. Next up, and these are all Poshmark. Next up was this Mark and James Badgley Mishka 6.5 brown wedge espadrille sandal. It sold for $16. After the $3.20 in fees, I was left with $12.80. That had been listed since August 13th of 2022. Next up on Poshmark was this Columbia hooded zip-up jacket, blue and gray, size 18-20. That was a women's. It sold for $12. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $9.05. That had been listed since February 1st of 2024. Then we had on eBay this Chico's tank top yellow size large. The order total was $27.30. The sales tax that the seller paid was $1.40. The transaction fee was $3.77. This shipping label was $4.38, and I made $17.75 on that. Next up on Mecari, we sold this Croft and Barrel short sleeve dress. It had been listed since February 28th of 2023, and this was something someone had donated to me, and it sold for $11.20 because Mecari does not have any fees for sellers. I actually only had 14 sales. I counted the Mercari sale, or 12 sales. I counted the Mercari sale twice. Next up on Depop was this vintage Lynn Harris size large multicolor mohair sweater. It was made in like New Zealand or somewhere, but I knew when I picked it up. I couldn't find comps on it, but I found one on Etsy that had sold for around $50. I sold this one for $32 was the sale price. After the transaction fee of $1.87 and the Depop fee of $3.20, I was left with $26.93. And I actually did not expect that to sell until the summer. Like I sent like a 20% offer on that. So I'm really happy. That was just listed April 29th, and we're filming this on Saturday, May 4th. So I was really happy that that sold so quickly. Next up was this on Depop were these Franco Sarto heels gold. This sale price was $20.80. The transaction fee was $1.50. The Depop fee was $2.08, and I was left with $17.22. Then we had this Tommy Bahama bikini new with tags medium. This was like one of my daughters that she never wore, so she donated it to us. And it had been listed since February 26th. And it sold for $22. This was new with tags, $96 swimsuit. Sold for $22 after the $4.40 in fees. We were left with $17.60. And then we had this loft knit cardigan white sweater. It had been listed since January 30th. It sold for $12 after the $2.95 in fees. And this was a Poshmark sale. I was left with $9.05. The Tommy Bahama bikini was also a Poshmark sale. And then rounding out the day, we had this Joseph A. Bank 3-piece tie set on Poshmark for $13 after the $2.95 in fees. I was left with $10.05, and those ties have been listed like 2 years. So those were our sales today. If you enjoyed any part of this video, you are walking away with any takeaways, I would appreciate you letting me know that in the comments, as well as giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you for joining and being my accountability partners. And let me know how your business is going, and I will see you in the next one.
Three queens Brazil, where the deals just shine. Boss ladies on the grind every single time. From victors to new, they got the fashion view. Step into their world, you feel brand new. Got Gucci, got Prada, got everything you crave. Their passion for fashion is what they bravely gave. Brazil game strong and the ladies in command. Three queens Brazil, taking over the land.